We're going to start the evening's awards ceremony with the most prestigious Lifetime Achievement Award, and it is being presented in association with our principal partner, Star India. T.N. Nainan was amongst the first to create the business newspaper in the early 1990s as editor of the Economic Times. Realizing the importance of the markets, he steered business journalism from pure economic and government policy reporting to giving primacy to corporate and business houses, including financial markets. As executive editor at India Today, Mr. Nainan's own stories on the pre-liberalization economic and business era gave business journalism a whole new meaning. He also rescued Business Standard from certain disaster after the ABP Group gave up the newspaper. He brought in investments and took the newspaper from being a single edition with a mere 8,000 copies circulation to becoming a multi-edition leading business daily in the country. He is truly an editor's editor, having attracted and groomed some of the industry's best editorial talent during his tenure at ET, BS, and BW, and many of his protégés have gone on to then assume leadership positions in the profession. As one of India's foremost economic commentators, his Weekend Ruminations column remains an absolute must-read for its wide range of themes and for its clarity of thought. Today, as chairman of the Board of Trustees at the Independent and Public-Spirited Media Foundation, that's the IPSMF, Mr. Nainan plays a vital role in supporting the cause of free and responsible journalism in the country. The Mumbai Press Club presents this Red Ink Award for Lifetime Achievement to you, Mr. Nainan, to honor your outstanding contribution to the country and society, to recognize the value of your unceasing efforts, to uphold the ideals of journalism, and to recognize that your journalistic spirit will serve as a beacon for generations to come. Ladies and gentlemen, a huge round of applause for T.N. Nainan. Thank you very much. May I please request the Honorable Governor to award the Lifetime Achievement Award to Mr. T.N. Nainan.
The greatest blessing has been that other people, namely your proprietors, pay for your mistakes by picking up the tab. So if Business Standard has survived and done well, a lot of the credit goes to the person who owns it, Mr. Uday Kotak. It is also true that if the Economic Times did well when I was there, a lot of the credit does go to someone who normally does not get too much credit in the media, who's Samir Jain, who had a certain vision and backed it with resources and allowed the paper to expand in a way that would not have been possible if Bennett Coleman was not changing under his direction. The Independent and Public-Spirited Media Foundation is not founded by me. I just happen to chair the board of trustees. It's really been set up by public-spirited individuals, about more than a dozen of them, who have looked at recent media trends and been concerned about where this is headed in a variety of ways. And they decided they should do something about it, but they didn't want to actually get involved in direct action. They just wanted to sort of put forward the money and then step back and say the trustees should decide how it should be handled. And so it's my privilege to chair the board of trustees, which has very eminent other trustees, to do what we can do best in the given situation with the resources that we have. And of course, it is a great privilege to be able to do that. We are confronted today with several challenges. We've heard a fascinating discussion this evening on some of those challenges. I must say that we often do not recognize that a lot of the negative trends that emerge is because of what is usually seen as a good development, which is the proliferation of media. I think Ravish mentioned 700 and odd channels, or Gurveer mentioned several hundred channels. Most of them are simply not viable. So, but if you still want to continue to do something to run that channel, then you start resorting to stories about snakes marrying trees. You start blurring the lines between advertising and editorial. You get into deals with business interests, which then undermine what you should be doing. So I think viability lies at the heart of the issue, and it's important, therefore, particularly in a global trend where newspapers are seen as fundamentally unviable, that we have disinterested people with no vested interest coming forward to support media and allow it to function in the way that it should. I've often been disappointed by when I see what journalists are prepared to do. I know a former colleague who's also a friend who used to be given daily lists of companies which the business section of that newspaper had to cover. And at the end of the week, he had to score how many column inches of coverage he had given to which of those companies and submit that as a weekly report card to the owners of the newspaper. At some point, we have to ask ourselves, are we standing up for what we believe in and to say that we want to rise above it all? So I don't want to end on a negative note because this is a celebratory evening and we're celebrating a lot of achievements, and I'm very glad to be in good company. But we do need to also ask ourselves the questions that will raise the profile of what we do, raise the credibility of what we do in the way that we will all be proud of what we do. Thank you very much.